Broadcasting from the Unshackled studios in Melbourne. This is WilmsFront, brought to you by the Unshackled.net. Now here's Tim Wilms.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first WilmsFront featured interview show for 2023 on a new night, a Sunday. So when WilmsFront airs this year, it'll be on a Sunday evening. It is the 18th of February. My last WilmsFront interview show was in December 2022, so it's been a while. We are live on the WilmsFront YouTube, DLive, and Odyssey channels, as well as on the Interactive Entropy software, where you can send myself and my guest a direct question or send through a super chat to support the production of not just WilmsFront, but other Unshackled shows. It is 8:30 p.m. here in Melbourne, Victoria. And my guest for tonight is local musician, satirist, and commentator, Senator Takin-Thepiss Papahatziharalambrous. That's a very long name to pronounce, as you know. I get tongue twisted easily. So he's the writer and performer of the hit song for a generation of Victorians who suffered under Premier Dan Andrews' lockdowns, who tomorrow will get that milestone 3,000 days where he can have a statue erected in his honor. So Senator Papahatziharalambrous, it'll roll off the tongue more I mention it. His hit song, which I played when Dan Andrews got re-elected on election night. It was a viral hit. Dan Andrews is a fucking cunt.
Dan Andrews is a fucking cunt. He's a fucking cunt. He's a fucking cunt. Dan Andrews is a fucking cunt. Yeah, he's a fucking cunt. Yes, he's a fucking cunt. Dan Andrews is a fucking cunt. He's a fucking cunt. He's a fucking cunt. Dan Andrews is a fucking cunt. Yeah, he's a fucking cunt. Yes, he's a fucking cunt. Dan Andrews is a fucking cunt. He's a fucking cunt. He's a fucking cunt. Dan Andrews is a fucking cunt. Yeah, he's a fucking cunt. Yes, he's a fucking cunt. Dan Andrews is a fucking cunt. He's a fucking cunt. He's a fucking cunt. Dan Andrews is a fucking cunt. Yeah, he's a fucking cunt. Yes, he's a fucking cunt. Dan Andrews is a fucking cunt. He's a fucking cunt. He's a fucking cunt. Dan Andrews is a fucking cunt. Yeah, he's a fucking cunt. Yes, he's a fucking cunt. Dan Andrews is a fucking cunt. He's a fucking cunt. He's a fucking cunt. Dan Andrews is a fucking cunt. Yeah, he's a fucking cunt. Yes, he's a fucking cunt. Dan Andrews is a fucking cunt.
Senator, welcome to WilmsFront.
G'day, Tim. Thank you very much for having me on your show.
And I should mention before we begin our discussion, trigger warning. As you just saw through the song, there'll be plenty of fruity language during tonight's discussion. I noticed that Dawn Browning, who's one of my regulars and one of your followers on your 14th Twitter account, because you didn't get banned 14 times off Twitter for having a decorum.
Look, I plead guilty. I will say g'day to all the viewers of WilmsFront. Enjoy yourselves tonight. And anyone who actually follows me on any of the socials, please subscribe, because what we really, really need truly at the moment is independent, free voices. And Tim is one of them. But I did notice, though, that you've let the team down. You forgot to welcome to country. So I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the traditional landowners of this country, the banks. That'll never get old for me. I love it, mate, especially under elbow. Interest rates skyrocketing. Beautiful. At least they've got a plan. Haven't seen it, but they've got a plan.
We'll get later in the show to, or as he likes to be called, Albo. You have to tag him Albo MP because Albo's an Italian porn star. If you
That's
just
true. That's true.
and
So is
there
our
are
wannabe part-time PM.
always also some people refer to him as Anil because Anthony Albanese shortened his
Course.
Anil.
Of course.
Or since he is so fond of downing beers, whether it be at a Gangs of Youth concert or in the Australian Open, in I guess solidarity with the people of Alice Springs, his new nickname is Albia.
Love it. Oh, it's cold. Good on him. Good on him. Look, couldn't think of anything better to do, and we will touch upon him because I reckon I'm up for a 3-day bender with Albo. I reckon I could keep up with him. Now, I might struggle a bit, but I'll have a fair crack. Might just actually just with the introductory song, Dan Andrews is a fucking cunt. Now, all that came about thanks to a lovely chap, Aussie Deplorable, at Shravaka on Twitter. That's SHRAVAKA. There he is. He's having an ouzo too. Oh, mate. Good effort. Great effort. And I just want to thank Aussie because I reckon I've quit the Aussie Senators about 3 or 4 times. I thought we'd sort of done our bit, try to sort of entertain people because, you know, I understand that we've got to fight for your right to party, but all those paid lackeys, you know, the celebrities, the ones who are well off, not one of them fought for your right. So Aussie got into my DMs going back about 2.5, 3 years ago now, and he said, would you like to sing a song for me? And I nearly fell off my chair, and I wasn't even sitting down. I'm like, me? Sing? I can hardly get a word out, let alone sing. But as it turned out, the interesting part about that was that the cunts in England had Boris Johnson is a fucking cunt out at that time, and they got it to number 1 in England. Why? Because he's a conservative. Had we done ScoMo is a fucking cunt, I reckon Triple J, ABC would have been all over it. But how dare we have a crack at the poster child, Dan Andrews?
Though ScoMo was an enabler of Dan, I mean, he's not missed. I mean,
no, and you're absolutely correct, you know. And anyone who has been following me over the past couple of years, 14 banned accounts on Twitter, and it's not just because I swear, because, you know, they don't want to hear our other side of the story. And it's all great if you're taking the mickey out of ScoMo or how many opposition leaders we've had in Victoria, God knows. If anyone can type in the name of the opposition leader at the moment in Victoria, please let me know, because I reckon he should be tuning in just to get a bit of a heads up on what's going on. But we even did a song about Michael O'Brien and even Matthew Guy, you know. This 80-year-old plus duopoly is a massive failure. And if anyone tells me that, you know, people like myself and others who are out there fighting the good fight were controlled opposition, then what are you going to call the Liberal Party of Victoria? What are you going to call Matthew
not
Guy?
even
Seriously.
an opposition.
Yeah, come on. You know, look, it just beggars belief that that was the best that we could put up, you know, and hopefully we'll get onto ScoMo and Mr. Greg Hunt, whatever his name is. I always mix that up. But, you know, again, I see them all, you know, trying to raise their heads there federally. And I'm a bit of a glass half full, but I'm also a bit of glass half empty. When I look at Victoria, I think, where to from here? Where to from here? I look at the opposition, I think, holy shit, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. They do not want to acknowledge that there is an issue that we need to fight the culture wars. It's almost like, yeah, don't worry about that, you know. We're about the finance. What? You know, get off the green tea, mate, you know. Come down to talk to us. try and get us back into the fold. And I just can't see it happening.
Well, the new Liberal team, the new leader, John Pesciuto, he's short like the other two previously, Matthew Guy and Michael O'Brien. They're basically indistinguishable from each other. Both these short pipsqueak males who, like, when Dan Andrews is like, he's a towering figure, speaks in an authoritative voice, and he was up against these two pipsqueaks for the past 8 years. John Pesciuto is short, but he sounds a bit more authoritative. He's Italian, so there seemed to be a bit of a theme with the Italian MPs, because remember James Molino, Dan's mini-me, was literally mini.
James Mussolino, how could you forget? Hey, good old James. We actually had a song about him, but he was sort of here one minute, gone the next, looking after back brace boys' job while he was, incapacitated. There's another thing there, Tim. Come on. Now, we all heard all the bullshit rumours and what have you about Dan Andrews. But in this day and age, if someone can tell me that the world is, if we got 1 million TikTok nurse videos, but we couldn't get one photo, one video of Dan in ICU or anywhere in hospital. Come on, that dog don't hunt. No one can tell me that there was not one video of him that wasn't staged. We saw the BS photo with the little, I don't know what it was. I think it was a training bra, wasn't it? Was it a brace? I thought it was one of those training bras at Collingwood and Essendon, where they sort of check his monitor, they monitor his vitals or whatever it is. But that to me was astounding, that you could get no photo or video. How many months he took off? Come on, that dog don't hunt. I can't believe that.
And that's why the rumors flourished. And like, I don't believe the ultimate rumor, which is now, well, I call it an urban legend now, that he slipped over at Lindsay Fox's place. But there was such an information vacuum that these rumors and now urban legends took on a life of their own. And we know earlier this year that Anal and Dan, they were at Lindsay Fox's place. Anal Elbow took the helicopter, private helicopter.
All for a good cause. Absolutely. It was for climate change.
Flood zone.
Absolutely, Now, our elites, they must fly in private jets like Bill Gates and, even Anal, got to be on those helicopters so they can get across the two-step. Magnificent. Let's see that I've got some of my, I'm waiting for the WA professor from the university to come across and type in some words. Apparently, and we'll get back to Albo and the barbecue, because, let the plebs eat insects as long as we can eat the best steaks that money can buy. But there is a professor who apparently goes around and doesn't want to debate people from WA, but he does love banning them. And I'm not going to take up too much time here with the old Twitter, even though Clementine Ford, or Clementity, as we all love her, Clementity Ford has got 2 accounts, one original account well over almost 20 years old. She still has the little tweet up, ScoMo is a cunt. And yet my original account with the Dan Andrews is a fucking cunt track, 24 hours, we got well over 100,000 views. And I woke up the next morning, banned. And that was it. And then you had to start all over again and just starting. But this WA professor, and I won't name the socialist with a Y in there, socialist. He knows who he is. My George, not Michael account on Twitter, he had a screenshot that he got me banned. I mean, how pathetic must your life be that you got a screenshot at George, not Michael, I got him banned. Congratulations. Well done. That really saved democracy. That's what I think anyway, He really saved democracy, and probably one of the reasons why Mr. most popular premier ever. Like, jogged my memory. I could be wrong, but didn't he hit the 80% popular in one of the polls last year? Dan Andrews, I believe it got either close to 80% or just over 80%. And he only got 36% of the primary vote. Dan Andrews, you are the minority, my friend, not us.
Although he did manage to get back into majority government thanks to his mates
system.
in the Greens. They have this love-hate relationship. Have you noticed? They dish each other.
Well, they did come out of the same party, didn't they? The Greens, right? So they're the old lefty, far left ALP people that started the Greens, and here we are today with, as you say, the love-hate relationship.
And now we should, yeah, that's okay. And now we should also make it clear that you are not an actual senator in the Senate, and the senators band is not actually a group of senators.
That is true, and I'm glad that you pointed that out, because I used to get a lot of replies. No wonder you're no longer a senator, because they would probably do a little quick check and go, hang on, he's not even a senator. What's going on here? But I used to get some absolutely ripper DMs, not just the boobs. I mean, that was grouse, not going to lie. Keep them coming, girls. I've got no issue with that. Leave the dick pics alone. I like the old-fashioned women, the legitimate women. Anyway, I just love the DMs, No wonder you're no longer in Parliament, or you're not even a real senator. I'm like, holy shit. How long did it take you to work that out? You fucking smart prick. Good on you. Good on you. So I'm glad that you pointed it out. I'm also not a comedian. I'm not a singer. I'm not a musician. And I am not a politician. What I am, though, is a proud Melburnian. I love Victoria. Yeah, it's still a great country. We have got a massive fight. Personally, I'd hope that we can do it with the Conservatives, Liberal, National, One Nation, United Australia. I don't care who they are, but just be upfront and tell us what you want to do for us. I'll go back to baking cookies. Yeah, no, fair call. Yeah. You should see my actually, for anyone following me on Twitter at For Australia, I gave up a lamb shoulder roast that I cooked over 4 hours on the Weber so I could be here. So, I fed everyone else, and I thought I'll come and do the right thing, because if I eat, mate, you'll never wake me up after that, I reckon.
Luckily, I've already eaten a nice roast. Otherwise, that would have made me hungry as well.
So if I sound hungry or hangry or whatever the term is, I'm not. I'm happy. I've got my little beer. So thank you for letting me have a beer on your show. Dan Andrews. It was a little classic song. I sometimes look back and I think, you got Get on the Beers. That was apparently the #1 song of the year, thanks to Triple J. Yeah. And I know that we've done a few other songs other than Dan Andrews is a, what. But again, it shows the bias, and there was probably 2 or 3 celebrities in Australia who supported us, who followed me, even a couple of reporters. Just trying to think if it was. So Brian Mannix, g'day, mate. You no longer follow me, so follow me back. Johnny Rotten, the old Sex Pistols, mate. Hey, he's more conservative than 90% of the Conservatives in Australia.
Lifelong rebel.
Mate, now that was like the tick of approval. It was like, okay, if Johnny reckons that we're on the right track, then we are. But I just felt so much shame that he was more of a conservative than most of the Liberals in the state and federal parliaments.
And obviously, the song only has one line. Dan Andrews is a fucking cunt. But the other classic hit from, well, almost 25 years ago now by Eric Cartman. Carl's mum's the biggest bitch in the whole wide world. That was just that. And so when there is, because I'm not sure about you, but I'd never truly hated a politician with such passion. Well, they did lock me in my home for 23 hours a day, and when you're allowed to leave, you had to have a muzzle on. I mean, so it's gave me a lot of reasons to viscerally hate him. And so there's no other, because I'm not a natural potty mouth. I do occasionally swear on my shows, but when it comes to Dan Andrews, there's no other term than to describe him as a fucking cunt. That's what I've explained to my audience, and they agree.
And I appreciate you saying that, because I have met a lot of ladies who are conservative who have told me that they play it loud in their car. And that freaks me out, because on the other side of the coin, or the other side of the spectrum, there's a lot of conservative women, and I appreciate that, who tell me, if you would just tone it down, I would be able to listen to you, or people would actually like you. Now, I don't mind offending people. I don't mind for the right reasons. I'm more offended that we don't know who the Prime Minister of this country was called under the Woods Royal Commission. I should say allegedly as well, so I don't want to get your channel taken off.
In the slammer like Aussie Cozza.
No, but I mean, the Woods Royal Commission, and then whatever has happened there has happened, right? But the fact that our children are not getting justice, to me, be offended with that. Be offended with that. Not with an F or a C word or whatever the bomb might be, Look beyond it. Have a listen. I don't hate Dan Andrews. I actually respect that he is one of the best political animals, probably since Joe Bielke-Peterson. And he was not targeted, like you said before. We had our soy boy leaders in the opposition. He wasn't hit politically. He just needed to be targeted politically. Now, I don't have the answers, clearly. Hi, everyone. She's late. It's all good. Still here. You can watch it later, apparently. No, I don't hate Dan Andrews, despite the fact that his hotel quarantine fiasco killed 801 Victorians. Now, there are families that I sometimes think of who have lost loved ones. And I think, man, how does he sleep at night? That's more Australians lost in one event here than the Japanese bombing of Darwin, combined with the deaths of Aussies during the entire Vietnam War. I mean, we're talking big numbers here. And that's not even taking into effect all the people who couldn't go to doctors, specialists, mental health. No, not good. And we all know someone who suffered greatly. We do. And that's been the tragedy. So I don't begrudge people saying that they hate him. I don't like that word. And I've always told my kids, use your energy in creative, productive, other ways. Don't hate. It just doesn't sit well with me. I despise the fucker. I despise him. And it's a true story. I was having a drink last year at the Imperial in the beer garden upstairs, and the person I was drinking with, I thought they were taking the piss out of me. They're like, Dan Andrews is drinking behind you. I'm like, no fucking chance. There's no chance in the world that guy would be out drinking. Across the road from Parliament, too close anyway. But I kid you not, when he got up with his little minders, if it was him, in fact, dead ringer. A dead ringer. Now, had I seen him from the start, I probably would have gone up to him and live stream and said, Dan, I love you, mate. Can I take a selfie? And just make sure I live stream and then just have a crack about the hotel quarantine, because that still sits here for me. That's still, we've lost a lot of good Victorian people unnecessarily. Don't get me started on HCQ and ivermectin. Hey, how did we know that HCQ and ivermectin won't be working straight up, just like that? Okay. 2 days in, bang. Greg Hunt, no, can't use it. Banned. No.
How did we know suddenly overnight that masks would be 100% effective against COVID?
People forget that Dan Andrews said you can wear a mask or a scarf. Doesn't matter as long as you cover. What? A scarf? Are you serious? What? So a specialist is going to take into surgery a Bandido's, or maybe they can ask what's her face if she can actually lend them one. But it was just ridiculous. And I've got to say a word to the people who keep calling everyone a cooker. Listen, we are not making it up. We didn't make it up. So over the past couple of years, we were listening to scientists. We were listening to medical experts. We were listening to people. The person who invented mRNA technology. We were quoting these specialists. Now, you may not have liked it. Tough, stiff shit. We did not make up the opposition rules, laws, whatever you want to call it. What we were saying is, hey, there's another side to this. Yeah, we're listening to all the doom and gloom, but have a listen to these guys. Listen to what they're saying. So you're not calling us cookers. You're actually calling people who have devoted their life to science. Don't even get me started on the medical industry in Australia. I've lost so much respect, you know, and not just the medical institutions, our academics, the whole board. Forget about the mainstream media. As far as I'm concerned, they are the real enemy. You know, they will scare people to death until they get their way. Now, I was actually going to talk about my doctor, but you know what? I won't. No, I won't.
Oh, that's probably best for their protection as well. Yeah. So I have noticed that particularly this year that actual science is making a comeback. I mean, we had recently that quite enlightening discussion between Karl Stefanovic and former Chief Medical Officer, Deputy CMO, Dr. Nick Coatsworth, who said, yeah, a fifth dose isn't necessary for most Australians. We can't just keep boosting people because it just diminishes it. And if you're healthy, even if you're over 65 and healthy, you've got nothing to worry about. We need to stop scaring people.
Totally agree. And so this doctor, has he actually had a chat to the other doctor, Dr. Phelps? No, I don't think he has he? And look, you know what? Let's not get into the he said, she said. As I stated, it's not just us. There are plenty of professional scientists and medical experts who are saying don't. I've had one cold in the past 3 years, probably longer than that. Yes, I'm unvaccinated. Have I had all my other vaccinations, Tim? Of course I have. Okay. This one here, there was something just not right. I think I've pinpointed it. When they said, as a 54-year-old bloke, when they said you've got a 99.97% chance of surviving the COVID virus, gone, mate, imagine taking those odds on anything in life. Oh, look, Tim, there's a 99.97% chance that you could become a billionaire tomorrow. All you have to do is this. You're going to jump at it. It did not make sense. And people are having a crack at Donald Trump. Can I just remind everyone, calm down, but I'll just remind everyone that Donald Trump did not mandate. He started Operation Warp Speed and he said to people, yes, you can get it if you want, but he did not force people. He did not say, if you don't get it, you can't work. And I think a lot of people forget that when he did get it, he actually had the cocktail that Joe Rogan and so many other elites did have. HCQ, ivermectin, the whole works, zinc, you name it. It was there, but not for your nan, not for your grandfather. Why? Why, Mr. Hunt? Hey? And Greg Hunt coming out the other day saying, you've got to get your 5th jab. Mate, I'm 54. I've had no jabs. Protect the people that need protecting, and let's move on. I think we've all had enough. But I keep thinking, what's coming next? Hey, Tim? We had UFOs in the sky that turned out to be $32 balloons from the local hobby shop or whatever it was. You got Joe Biden telling us, Sleepy Joe telling us that it's all good, nothing to see here. What happened in East Palestine in Ohio? These are the people who care for the environment. Climate. The climate is key, paramount. So what did they do? They knocked back the request to help out, to clean the environment. Yeah, the hypocrisy just oozes, and that shits me just a little.
Oh, it's insane at the moment that, I'm old enough to remember, and probably you are as well, when the left progressive, they said they cared about human rights, that they didn't think that civil liberties should be curtailed because that would lead to authoritarianism. And going back to cookers, the real cookers were the people who just cheered on the lockdown insanity and seemed to just get off on grandmothers getting pepper sprayed and women getting choked for not wearing masks. They just excused it all. And I remember how, like, you've been on Twitter 14 times. There was obviously Dan's #1 PR guy, literally called PR guy 17, and then there's have you heard of the Dan fangirl? She's even creepier. Yes, she wrote a song as well.
Yes, I've been blocked a couple of times by her. Never interacted, but yeah, no, you're right.
She had a birthday cake with Dan's face on it as well.
It is definitely the Church of Latter Dan Saints. It is a cult. I'm not even going to lie to you. It is definitely a cult. And when we see that, sure, he's in government, mainly because we don't have an opposition, 36% of the vote, helped along the way by the mainstream media. You tell me a premier this popular that won't go out and press the flesh of ordinary mums and dads, what's he afraid of? Got no problem. I have no problem with him marching at the LGBTQP+1, whatever it is today. Tomorrow it'll be an extra letter. Now, I've got no problem with him marching there, right? But go and press the flesh of ordinary mums and dads. They're not going to tell you off, Dan. They're not going to spit at you. We are civilized. You need to hear our voices as well, okay? I've got Greek heritage. I have no problems celebrating Ramadan, acknowledging Hanukkah, Chinese New Year festival. No problem. LGBTQP+, whatever. Mate, you want a day, you want a week, you want a month, you want a year, fine. That's no problem. But leave Australia Day alone. Leave Anzac Day alone. Don't you dare touch Remembrance Day. The one thing that I can't understand is how easily we gave in. Where's that Aussie digger spirit? Where is it? It was there, but you had to look for it. There were plenty of people out there. I don't know, and I'm not going to ask whether you were there or not, because I know that it was illegal, then it was legal. Apparently, the chief commissioner's pet, Cornelius, who could have actually been on South Park or The Simpsons, he told us it's legal. You can protest if you go for BLM. It's not legal. You can't protest. It's not a human right. And then all of a sudden he turned up and he said, it's a human right. The people who are freedom fighters, yes, it's your right to go out there. Mind you, this is after they shot at innocent children, women, and men protesting on the streets of Melbourne. I'm not touching the shrine. What I'm saying is in the dead heart, in the center of the city, a government authorized the shooting of protesting children. Now, John Howard, many people on the left and the far left think he's a cunt. Not even John Howard had the fucking demented thought on the docks to shoot at the protesting wharfies. So all I'm going to say is this: be careful what you ask for or support, because one day there'll be a Liberal national government in office. And if they start shooting at the CFMEU or the Australian Maritime Workers Union, shut your fucking gob. Shut it. Don't you fucking dare. Salek McManus or whoever the fuck is there, shut your fucking mouth. Okay? You made your bed, fucking lie in it. I don't approve of any fucking government shooting at any Australian. Okay? But let's ship off some fucking weapons and money to Ukraine. Don't even get me started on that little fucking can of worms. I just can't believe that we send our diggers off. In a previous life, I was lucky enough to meet a lot of serving men and women and their parents. And they would, I'm not going to go into it, but I was so proud of the things that they were doing. And they went to protect people's rights. Where was our commissioner? Where was our human rights activists? Where was the barristers? Where were I'm not even going to call them an industry, but where were these social justice bleeding hearts? The only time, the only time they came out was with the high-rise commission towers, because the poor bastards that were in there, especially down here, because I'm in the, I've always lived in the city of Essendon, Moonee Valley, Moonee Ponds region. Well, once they got locked up in their towers there, only then did they come out and say, "Oh, that's probably not a good thing." You know, some of these people have come from war zones. Yeah. Never mind the fact that it's illegal, it's immoral, it's just wrong. Yeah. Just wrong, Tim. Yeah. So if anyone is still watching this, because I'm on a different channel than what you guys are, if anyone's still watching this, thank you. Thanks for putting up.
But I got a very lively chat. I'm putting the comments on the screen. But yeah, going back to that Assistant Commissioner Luke Cornelius, you'll be interested to know he's been moved to HR Assistant Commissioner now. So he's
human resources.
Yes.
More donuts in that. Has to be. There's got to be more donuts in that, right? Come on.
Yeah, but yeah, he was the one who declared that the tinfoil hat brigade are out in force and they're batshit crazy. Conspiracy theories, and he said that Zoe Bueller, the Ballarat pregnant mother, who Victoria Police dropped the charges against her. Luke Cornelius already declared after she was arrested she'd engaged in serious criminal behaviour. He had several nicknames: Chief Wiggum, Fat Chief Bastard. I think maybe he was the trigger for the earthquake. Remember, there was just a movement in Victoria Police HQ.
Well, there was I can't confirm this, but there was a shortage of Jiffy Jam donuts in the Woolworths
and a KFC chicken shortage. I remember.
I'm not saying, but you know what? I reckon someone should go and check his garage. That bloke, unbelievable. But it'll be remiss of me not to mention Shane S.S. Patton, the commissioner. Yeah,
yes, with his dark navy uniform, which looked like another.
Mate, Luke Skywalker would be like. Even Luke Skywalker would be like, "Oh man, what's going on here? What's with the No, look, there was Dan Andrews is a smart political beast. He has put all the right people in all the right positions right throughout, and he's been well looked after. But that name should be passed down to the next generation. Shane Patton, the chief commissioner in charge. Even Mick Fuller in New South Wales said he's not going to patrol parks because that's not what they do. They didn't sign up for this.
Pretty insane as well.
Come on.
What he said, we've got all these powers now that we can use against you. I had my own nickname for him, the T-1000, because he looks like the T-1000 Terminator, and he just he had that. He had that mono vision. We've just got.
See, for me, it was Grecian 2000 ad, because he looked like he got the old Kiwi boot polish and just went, geez, I'm going to be on shortly. Yeah, I better put this on. Okay, how do I look? Yep, no, I look good. But you're right. He was just, there was something about that bloke that just wasn't right and still isn't, you know. I'm not surprised at the amount of good, honest coppers who are no longer in the force, and not just because of the jab, but because they were forced to do things that they did not want to do. And you know what? If shooting at women, children, peacefully protesting is what it takes to preserve this democracy, then this is not a democracy. Now, I got news for you. If you're banning people, like, I get it. Ban the pedos on Twitter with their rape videos that Jack Dorsey would not remove. They were there. We'd report them, check a few days later, they were still there. But I was the problem? Really? Okay. Wow, what a frail, fragile democracy, you know? Unbelievable. And I see that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory has been cut up. Good old George Orwell. He must be he would have rolled over at least 1,000 times just in the past 6 to 12 months. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. They're no longer Fat Boy, Augustus Gloop, with his chocolate. Rather than target chocolate and say, you know what, maybe you guys shouldn't be having too much sugar in your diet. Rather than target that, oh no, they're not Oompa Loompa men because you're excluding women, trans women, and, you know, the women with dicks nowadays. We're going to call them Oompa Loompa people. Doesn't that make you feel nice? I don't know. But I just remember Charlie and the Chocolate. I'll tell you what. God, I'm glad that I got to live and survive through the 70s and the 80s. Was I called a wog? Fuck yeah. Did I give a shit? Probably at the time. Do I care now? Has it done anything to me? No. What it has done is it's shown me that this country, this land, has an amazing and wonderful way of making you love her. And if you don't, that's fine. But for me, this is home. This is my homeland, you know, and I'm happy to share it with anyone and everyone who loves her, right? We should have and could have been a beacon to the rest of the world. When Clementine Ford, Maruki Faruki, whatever their names, right? When they were banging on about men are evil in Australia, 2 times in a row, we were voted Australia the safest country on earth for women. For women. For women. Not Saudi Arabia, not Afghanistan, not America, not even woke New Zealand. Thank God that horse's head is gone. So when they were talking about, these men, you're talking about our dads, our grandfathers, our sons, our brothers. What the fuck? You're calling us all rapists, bashers, muggers, murderers. You piece of shit. You piece of shit. Add to that, Australia, third largest intake in the world. First in the OECD for migrants. First in the OECD. I would ask your viewers, g'day viewers, I'd ask them to have a look and see which nations are in the OECD. And Australia was first. We're not racist. We were third in the world taking in migrants behind the US, Canada, Australia. Bronze is good, mate. Nothing wrong with bronze. So when they say that we're racist and we're this, that, and the other, bullshit. call it out. And this is why I keep getting banned, because no one wants to fucking talk about the facts. It's just like, oh, listen, you fucking little cunt, whatever the fuck you are. Yeah, with your little fucking middle name, Papahatziharalambrous, and I've got to say, you did it well.
It's okay for them to use racial slurs against you. The same's happened to Rukshan. Like he gets racist
Classic
messages from the left who say that he's not a real Australian.
Tolerant left, yep. Yeah, he did. He copped it. And I remember during his live streams, there was one in particular with the CFMEU right-wing Nazis. When he was interviewing a group of Indian lads down there just before the Victoria market, when just before it all hit off. And I thought to myself, here's real Rukshan interviewing 3 or 4 Indian CFMEU members, and they're talking sense. The only thing that was missing with our freedom protests and the CFMEU march, I believe, is an elected representative leader to step out from behind the shadows and say, you know what? I'm going to lead this. The CFMEU protesters, I don't condone what they did to their head office. That's their business. I don't care. But they marched through the city, ended up over the Westgate Bridge. They looked like a headless chook to me. All they needed was a senator or someone to come out, Victorian, elected representative, come out and say, meet me at the steps and let's have a chat. And I won't name names, but I did call a few of the senators' offices, and the most pitiful, pathetic excuses that I received, you would not believe. So when I asked why a senator, obviously not on the left, would not call for us to meet at the steps of Parliament, and I don't know if we would have gotten 100,000 or 500,000 people, or if everyone and their nan and their dog would have turned up. But what I do know is that if an elected representative had done that, people would have turned up. People would have taken them seriously. I don't want to be out there behind someone who's got far left tendencies or far right extreme tendencies on both extremes. But an elected representative, theoretically speaking, we could turf them out if they stuff it up, right? So for mine, it was, you've got to do this. And there was one in particular, and he will remain nameless, but I will tell you what the reason behind that he could not organize a freedom protest. And this person, everyone knows him. One, he was scared of the media and what it would do to his family. The family part, I get it, but because he mentioned the family first, I was like, I don't buy that shit. You're just worried that the mainstream media will not re-elect you, because that's how it works. But the second part of it was when I said, mate, if you organize a protest, even if you're arrested, where do you think we're going to turn up? Wherever you're being held, we will turn up until you are released. If anything, you then, that moment on, become the true opposition leader. And things would have been different. One office, I did say, mate, if he's that fucking gutless and scared, and I'm sure they got the notes, if he's that gutless and scared, how about he resigns and parachutes me in? I got no problem organizing it. Would have no issue, none at all.
I do think that I call it the week of rage with the construction worker protests, including when they went off the Westgate Bridge. I think that was the turning point where I think because Dan hid for most of that week. That's when I think he like finally flipped and it's like, hey, we can live with COVID now as long as we all have the vaccine. Then it doesn't matter how many cases that we're getting every day. And obviously not long after that, Gladys Berejiklian, she resigned. She famously said before she embarked on Sydney's long lockdown, I will never have to lock down again. And that Police Commissioner Mick Fuller is no longer there as well. And so I know that in the I guess in the spirit of optimism, the Senators released a song, Dan Next, which we'll play now for an intermission.
We swear by the Southern Cross. Every day I look around and see the damage done by the ALP. Our children don't deserve this tyranny. The life you lead does not belong to them. This is where Victoria takes its stand. Gladys is gone, Dan's next. Free Victoria, for God's sake. Gladys is gone, Dan's next. How many suicides? Okay, this is for Victoria. Learn the lessons of Eureka. You cannot send troops off to fight for right. Shoot down Victorians protesting here. They'll ban your jobs, they'll take me from the parks and family and loved ones. Lead doctor, don't die for Dan, don't die for the ALP. Don't die for Dan, don't die for the ALP. You're either for or against Victoria. Never get another chance. Gladys is gone, Dan's next. Free Victoria, for God's sake. Gladys is gone, Dan's next. How many suicides? Okay, they sold us out, you know it well. We'll throw them out, take back our states, and drain the Billabonga. It doesn't matter if you're left or right, no. It's time we take back our states. Don't die for Dan, don't die for anyone. They sold us out, not just a way of life. And you know it, and I do too. Gladys is gone, Dan's next. Free Victoria, for God's sake. Gladys is gone, Dan's next. How many suicides are okay?
Ah, you gotta love it. You've just gotta love it. Oh, sorry, we're back on.
How long does it take to first compose the songs and then the music clip? Truth be told, you're not my first musical satirist that I've had on this show. I had last year Dr. Clown on.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Excellent.
you know of
Yes.
Dr. Clown. So he does a similar thing with the music parody and the music video as well, though he sticks to pandemic pantomime.
Well, the musical side of it is completely Aussie deplorable. And if he hasn't finished the whole love it. If he hasn't finished the whole bottle of Ouzo, Aussie Deplorable is the bloke that he is an absolute gem, musical genius. We have got so many different styles. It's unbelievable. He'll shoot through some music. I'll have a bit of a listen. Now, my song that earned me 2 strikes, not 1, 2 strikes on YouTube, Let Me Tell You About Pedo Island, was about Epstein after his death. And that, upon listening to that music, I didn't know, and I don't know when I listen what I'm actually going to write in lyrics. But as soon as I listened to it the first time, I've just whacked on the recorder there and I've just started ad-libbing. And that song, as you hear it, was probably a second take, because the first take I pretty much got down. It just came out. And it's a great little tune. If you go to my YouTube channel, Punters, you can have a bit of a look and go through some of them, because some of the songs there are amazing. But let me tell you about Pedo Island. I do remember that you won't find the film clip on there because I've had 2 bands, but I have got the Senator me singing it. I think near the bottom you might be able to find it there. But there was a part where there it is. Is that it? No, let me tell you. Yep, there it is. Let me tell you about, Let Me Tell You by the Aussie Senators. So just above breaking, turned the footpath into a pub. So check that out, punters. There was a chap from Ireland who told me that he was, or she, sorry if I got it wrong, was going through a hard time. No, that was legit. I can't remember because I've had so many accounts, but I've had so many wonderful, truly wonderful people that I've met from all over the world, not just in Melbourne, Victoria, and many of them I've met in person as well. But told me that they were going through a really difficult time in Ireland with the lockdowns, and that our songs were helping keep that person motivated and help them get through, is what they said. So that, to me, was a pretty proud moment. One of my favorite songs in there is the Anzacs. Pretty special to me for many, many reasons. But yeah, the lyrics, even I don't know sometimes where they come from. Obviously, Dan Andrews is a fucking cunt is just self-explanatory. Didn't have to actually do too much for that. But for the rest of them, I'll just listen to it and I'll just go, whoa, yeah, you could be down at the Fitzroy pub or having a Sunday session with, your loved ones or your mates, their loved ones as well. And this might be a little band in the corner. They're playing this, So I've always been creative, always written since I can remember. Even before I left high school, kept journals, did all that creative thing. Here's a fun little fact. I missed out on an arts, true arts, fine arts at the National Gallery of Victoria for the simple reason that I went to school at 4, so I wasn't 18. Now, I did nude figure drawing, nude figure painting, etching, you name it. My portfolio was amazing according to the 3 people who were adjudicating or interviewing me on that time. And things could have been a little bit different, I got to say. So the only reason that I didn't make it was that I wasn't 18. I was 16 at the time when I finished year 12. And they said, why don't you come back next year? You'll have an even bigger and better portfolio. We can't guarantee you, but, mate, you're a shoo-in. And I said, well, next year I'll be 17. What are you going to tell me then? So I missed out. Doesn't matter. Live and learn, move on. I do love classical. It's the only thing about the ABC that I do love. I love classical music. I love reading. Got a wonderful library. A digital library, but also paperback books. Love my books.
Behind me.
Mate, it's the first thing I noticed, and I was like, what's that old quote? If you're dating someone, you go back to their place and they don't have a bookshelf, at least one bookshelf, leave. And I agree with that. You got to have the book. So kudos to you. I love it, I see the little Johnny Howard book there behind your ear there as well. God bless him. Jeff Kennett got that one as well. So there's a few books you've got there. Castro there. I've got them as well. So it's great, mate. It's bloody good. But the true genius behind the music is Aussie Deplorable. And a special shout out. Thanks, mate, for not giving up on me, even though I quit a couple of times, because I was like, we've done everything, haven't we? Haven't we? Dan's still here. And then I'm thinking, you know what? Let's just use it as a creative outlet. People get a bit of joy out of it. And I think that's... So the thing that really, really I loved is that I'm not shy. I love to talk. And I miss Graham Kennedy. I miss Paul Hogan's show. I miss the old school comedians where you could say anything, right?
Even Aussie comedy around 20 years ago was hilarious. I mean, obviously...
The D-Generation. Do you remember the D-Gen?
Yeah, I remember them.
I mean, we all know about comedy and all of those.
Shabansky was actually funny.
Yeah, the old blackface, good on her. But you got to own it, mate. Don't apologise and bullshit. It still shits me seeing sports people around the world taking a knee. Premier League, wake the fuck up. It's a communist Marxist organisation. I'm sick of postmodernism. I'm sick of the communist Marxists. I'm sick of they've infiltrated every part of our democratic institutions, academia, politics, media, everywhere, even in our bread and our circuses, the AFL. How good is the AFL? Now, they told me that I had to respect women. Yeah, of course I respect women. I've got two sisters. Oops. Mum, 2 aunties that I love. My own daughter. Of course I'm going to respect women. But maybe you should be turning that on your own players and get them to respect it. Now, with the racial claims, the big racial claims, about Hawthorn and the ex-coaches there, right? Now, I mean, if that is true, that's under your watch. Gillen, get off the horse, mate. Yeah, we all love the old polo and all that bullshit. Mate, that's under your watch. So stop preaching and telling us, I don't want a fucking wog round. I don't want to fucking skip abo and wog round. I don't. What I want is if I tune in, right, or pay my hard-earned, I just want to go and enjoy myself.
Yeah,
that's it.
Exactly.
And the same with music. Cold Chisel. I don't need Jimmy Bards telling me what to fucking do. Mate, who the fuck are you? I couldn't give a rat. Just sing a fucking song and fuck off. Right? Thank the fucking crowd and fuck off.
Although there is this one based band which played in Melbourne. I don't know what their name is or what their songs are, but this clip of them performing in Melbourne went viral because it was the first time they were able to come to Melbourne because their gigs kept getting cancelled because Dan Andrews kept locking down the state.
Because every time I think I'm going to come down here and got cancer, so every time I said I'm going to get on stage and do that Dan Andrews cocksucker. So fuck this Andrews! Fuck Dan 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 Andrews! Fucking cunt.
He's upset because he's got a small little cock to fucking do a dog.
You're not a fan of old Dan Andrews, mate.
His little glasses. Fucking white guy.
What do I want to do?
That is brilliant. That is
And
brilliant.
The audience just lapped it up. Supposedly, you would think that a music audience would. Well, then again, Albo did get booed at what was that? That Byron Bay festival
right.
when he got up on stage.
Amongst his own. Yes. That is brilliant. I thank you for showing me that. I've never seen it. I don't know if any of your viewers have actually seen that before. And if they have, that's friggin' brilliant. I love it. Now, can I just say to any person, whether you're on the left, right, center, wherever you are in the music industry, check out Aussie Deplorable's songs. It's on my YouTube channel. Check out our stuff. This bloke is brilliant. Now, I would not give my left testicle to get on stage, but I would love to get on stage. And I know that there are people in the music industry that do not like Dan Andrews. I know it for a fact. That little concert there shows that there's a reason why Dan Andrews, with his minders, were told, do not press the flesh. Do not go to the Aussie Open. Do not go to this, that, the other. Stay behind barricades. Stay in union pickets. Put the little hard hat on. Put the high vest on. And stay behind those barricades. Remove the trains, whatever. But no ordinary citizen will be able to cross that. So he was always protected. He has been protected by the mainstream media over so many deaths. But then during the election, he was protected. Now, I know that you're out there. Mate, hit us up. Hit us up. Because if we did a little gig, I'm telling you, my friend, you'd have 10,000 people singing Dan Andrews is a fucking cunt, and the cunt would hear it from Brighton or wherever the fuck he lives. I mean, no one, who knows? And you know what? I don't care. I've heard so many little stories of people who have texted me, oh, I live close by to Dan. I couldn't give a rat's. Just come out, Dan. Just come out. Not at the closet, mate. Keep that in your pants, mate, you know. That's your business. I couldn't get, which begs the question, mate, I couldn't give a rat's ass if Anthony Lasagna Albanese is gay. Couldn't give a fuck. Don't care. But, mate, pull your fucking weight. There's fucking major issues in Australia. And if the voice is that
Right,
important,
that
you
age.
would have, sorry, mate, I was just going to say, if the voice was that important, he would have rubbed ScoMo's nose in it. Surely, Tim, during the election campaign, if it was that important, why did he keep it secret? Right? Now,
Yeah,
Alice
you're right.
showed
It
exactly.
wasn't.
Am I
he didn't
wrong
mention
or am I
it in the
right?
campaign.
Yeah. Look, Alice Springs, fly in, fly out prime minister is what he is the FIFO. He flies in Alice Springs, beautiful air-conditioned offices, talks to a couple of punters. They've got no voice. Shit. So how did you fucking hear them then, you dickhead? If they've got no fucking voice, why did you even bother flying down? Why'd you waste your time? Oh, because they do have a voice. In fact, every Australian has a voice, but they're not listening to any of us. Our elected representatives are there to do a job, and they're not doing it. They're the ones who have sold off 25% of Australian land to the CCP. I'm not talking lease. We all know the lease deals, right? The ALP and the LNP, the duopoly, have sold off 25% of Australian land to the CCP. You, Tim, and I can't even buy an apartment there. Not that I want to, but I'm just saying, just pointing it out there. And the beauty of this little scam or scheme or fiefdom, if you will, is that they can just keep on blaming the other party ad nauseum each election. Well, it's not us. Mate, they've left us in the shit. We're going to try and clean it up. Then the next election, wasn't us. They've left you in the shit. So who the fuck sold off 25%? It's about 24.9. So I round that up. Who sold off 25%? Who authorized it? If it wasn't under the watch of the ALP and LNP. There. That's what I thought.
There's all this talk about bipartisanship. It's so good, bipartisanship, but all that means is bipartisanship is that the major parties are colluding to bypass the public. We have got a super chat over on Entropy from a user called Racist Trained Tirade Person for $3 Australian. My name is Peter Grace. I work for Triple M as a producer. I was also fired from Volunteer Radio because they weren't getting the money's worth. Question: Senator's thoughts on drag time story hour. Is there any of that going on in your area?
You know what? Thank you. I actually had a great text before I came on the show tonight wishing me luck. And I'd actually previously spoken to this person and said, please don't let your little boy or boys watch this program tonight. There will be no drag queen storytelling on this show. But because of my language, I didn't feel comfortable. But drag queen reading, it goes... I've never had a problem with what people want to do in their bedrooms. And I think most Australians, there might be a few who are a bit, oh, geez, but if you're going to keep ramming, right, these LGBTQ relationships down my throat, right, then what's to stop me from going, mate, I love double D's, blonde, blue eyes, and I'm going to show you what I do as well. It just doesn't make sense. I don't want anyone knowing what I do. I couldn't give a rat's ass what you do in your own bedroom, as long as you're over 18. Don't give me this love is just a number bullshit. If you're 70 years old and you've fallen in love with a 21-year-old, God bless you. Good luck. But if you're above 18 and you've fallen in love with an 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old, fuck off. There's one word, right? That's pedophilia. And I understand the people who are trying to push it, the classicists in academia, because, the Greek ancient Athenians had the boy love, right? You've also got Islam, the Prophet Muhammad, his bride, was 9, but he didn't consummate. It's called rape, bro. At 12, it's called rape. There's no way of looking at it. Now, I shouldn't even mention him, but an ex-Collingwood player who was a fucking ratbag today tweeted out about Jack Ginnivan that the person who videotaped him in the toilets should get the death penalty. I'll tell you who should fucking get the death penalty. Dane Swan. I'll tell you who. Anyone who rapes our children. One and done. That'll solve it. Done.
What are you talking about?
Well, Dane Swan tweeted today that Jack Ginnivan, apparently a Collingwood player, got caught taking illicit, illegal drugs in a Torquay hotel. And Dane Swan's come out and supported his old team, as you would, I guess. But there's no supporting that, right? I'm not even for marijuana. It's like, oh, but Senator, let people do what they will. Sure. But if the government is taxing the fuck out of cigarette smokers and telling you that if you smoke, you're killing yourself, the ingesting of the smoke into your lungs is hazardous to your health, then how the fuck are the Liberal Democrats or anyone, the ALP or even the Conservatives, saying it's just marijuana, it's harmless? Really? It's harmless? Talk to the psychologists about mental health issues. But you're inhaling smoke, my friend. I'm not talking about edibles and the wonders that the oil can do to people who are ill. I'm all for that. No dramas. But don't fucking give me this bullshit about you can't smoke cigarettes. We better tax you to the fucking smithereens. New Zealand is going to make it illegal. New Zealand is banning kids.
Oh yeah, that was one of as you call her, horse faces, one of her last legislation passed. And with her gone, and also Nicola Sturgeon gone in Scotland, what's she called, the ginger dwarf from the north? That's what Katie Hopkins calls her. There are now rumors that maybe Justin Trudeau, blackface Hitler, might be next.
Mate, now you know what? There's two things I want to see. Good old Trudeau gone, but, and sorry God, there's one thing. I wake up every morning and I check the news for one thing: Dan Andrews' resignation, or that he's tripped over and the ambulance took so long that he expired. And you know what? That might be my little karma, but I do check every morning, and that's not a lie. That is not a lie. So Justin Trudeau, the old blackface Hitler, as he called him, what a piece of work that bloke is, eh? What a nasty piece. I thought our boy down here was an absolute pillock, but that guy is they're on a similar level, you know. What he's done to his people and what our dictator Dan has done for us has just been criminal. We will never have a royal commission. We will never, ever.
If there was a royal commission now, like we saw how the board of inquiry into hotel quarantine went, like a royal commission into the government, run by the government, is not going to find much. That's my
look. I tend to agree with you, but in a royal commission, you have special powers. Things will come out. We might get another situation where they lock it up for the next 90 years, but we do need one Australia-wide, federally, but also for this state. And you know what? I'm happy if it's going to happen before 2030. So I can't see the Liberal National Party kicking Dan out at the next election, let alone 2030. And I hope I'm wrong. But I just can't see the opposition. I have, and apologies to the young bloke who sent the super chat question in. I'm sorry if I've sort of gone off on a tangent. What I will say is, just going back, just remind me that little question about the drag queen reading. I think we sort of covered it, but I think for mine, keep perverts away from children. If you are over 18 and you want to go and see a drag queen read a book, fuck a book, or do whatever the fuck they want with it, They can burn it for all I care, right? But in a venue where you're 18 and move on. Enough of this bullshit, right? I don't care. I just don't care. It's like we've just pandered to the point where it's like, oi, I know why you're doing it. And I think a lot of people know why governments around the world, not just in Victoria and Australia, are getting us into these little culture mini wars about this, that, and the other. It's to take our attention away from their failures. Albo can only tweak at the margins. He can do a couple of little things, mainly policy, right? Dan Andrews the same, although we saw when I was asking people to just be weary, just know that you will no longer be able to discuss with your children under the legislation if they had decided that they're going to have gender reassignment surgery. You're fucking crazy, they said. Fucking conspiracy. It's the bill. It's going up. People are talking about it. It's there. Have a look. No one's going to put me in jail. Well, now, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Your 9-year-old comes up and says, Dad, Mum, nothing you can do. School's already progressed me. There's nothing you can do, Tim. It's insane.
Well, these laws, they were all first enacted by Dan Andrews in Victoria and spread nationwide. And this is because it's Dan's 3000th tomorrow. And so what Paul Strango wrote, that Dan Andrews will be remembered as a titan of politics who bent Victoria to his will. And it goes through all of his, what a lot of people would call cultural Marxist engineering, how that spread nationwide. The Herald Sun did its own 3,000 days commemorative piece, which was by Matthew Johnston. Obviously, both articles mention the visual. Go for broke is pretty accurate. I mean, the infrastructure is all nice, but it's very expensive. Well, because Dan has to pay off a lot of his union mates, which inflates the price as well. And of course, he's eligible for the statue tomorrow, which he poured cold water over it this week, saying, well, I'm not interested in it. It's up to the next premier. I mean, it was Jeff Kennett's idea. But if this, I think Dan Andrews knows that if the statue's ever erected, that it'll just be continuously vandalized. Like, I'm not inciting anything here, but I can imagine it getting its head chopped off, like in that Simpsons episode where Bart chops off Jebediah Springfield, or it could end up in the Yarra, like some of those BLM protesters did in London with some of the colonial statues there. It'll probably be pissed on or have paint thrown on it. I mean, you name it.
I totally agree with what you've said, and I think the piss post will be one of those things. It'll remind me of the good old days of 6 o'clock closing time out at pubs where everyone would go out into the gutter and then just let loose, and that could happen there and probably would. My only concern there is that I don't want him doing that pose, on election night. I want him to do the real pose, like the innocent children and women protesting and being shot at. That's the pose I want, But if I can be serious for a moment, and I've tried and I've failed, but if I can be serious just for a moment, there is nothing greater than a left-wing Marxist, postmodernist, culturally elite, social justice warrior having a statue of himself, a white old man. Now, I want to see Sally McManus suck on a lemon when she has to go and do the official opening and tell us why statues of Karl Marx, okay, statues of Lenin, Stalin, and Mao, no problem. But fucking hell, man. Captain Cook, fucking tear that fucker down, mate. Come on. enough's enough. We've got to have more fucking sculptures of far left, white, old men. And Dan Andrews, God bless him, I hope that sculpture goes ahead, because how much fun are we going to have with it? Seriously, Tim, we are going to laugh our tits off, mate. It's going to be the best, because there'll be reports in the Herald Sun. Oh, last night, two vandals were caught urinating on Dan Andrews' statue. Only problem is they'll pixelate their faces and their hands because it might not be the right skin color.
Well, it's diverse, the demographics that Dan Andrews tyrannized. I mean, we saw uprisings by Albanian Muslims in Dandenong during Dan's second lockdown, by the Lebanese.
Get the Broady boys
in Broadmeadows.
Yes, good man. No, you're right. Absolutely. He's truly hated across many communities, and the fact that he won't go out in public proves it. It proves it. You know, I did have something on that I could not break. Mum's in her twilight years, so it was her birthday. Pride March, I did want to be there. I had a dress. Someone was going to do my makeup for me, and I was going to go up to Dan Andrews and just pretend that I'm one of his biggest fans, so I could capture it all.
You were going to pretend to be Kath Andrews there.
I got to tell you a story. Now, original punters who have been with me since day dot, especially over the first few videos. Now, when Dan Andrews used to do his, and I don't have the glasses here, but he'd have his little black specs on, and Rachel, listen to me. This is very important. When he'd do his little stand-ups and everyone's like, oh, yes, sir, what do we have to do today? And they're all clamoring. And when he was giving his little speeches, I used to do little 60-second videos using a little filter where it would kind of make me look a bit like him. Now, I used to always joke that Kath Andrews, she had seen me out at a club and we were dancing one night, and of course she'd had a few drinks, and so did I. Otherwise, why the fuck would I be dancing with her? And at the end of the night, she said, let's go home, baby. And I said, hey, I'm not Dan Andrews. She goes, I know. Fuck. Nothing happened. Mate,
now,
sorry, yep, go on.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned those famous communist figures who there's statues of. Well, the pandemic, Dan Andrews, his coronavirus dictatorship went global, and I came across, he even got this spray by this elderly Bronx gentleman who has no time for wise guys like Danny Andrews.
People, how could you listen to a little fucking prick, scumbag piece of shit like Danny Andrews down in there in Australia? A little nothing of a boy. You look at this clown of a jerk off. Look at that little fucking asshole. That was disrespectful of me. I'm sorry. Assholes have a positive function. The shit coming out of that little prick's mouth. Locking down, telling people, well, you're not going to get vaccinated, you're not going to have any freedom. That's the next thing.
I love it. I do remember that bloke. And you know what? Even Tucker Carlson, mate. I mean, everyone was having a crack at him. The fact that people know him internationally is a shame on us. It's a little stain. And I take it back to our elected representatives in the Liberal, National and other parties. And I don't buy it for a second. What could I do? Well, if you can't fucking do it, who can? Me? You? People on the street? Come on. I just didn't buy that. That is gold. I did see that and I loved it. And as you said, it's got that American, that Italian-American bit of a gangster about him, I love it. Love it. Early days, I got banned on TikTok during the CFMEU riots, protests, whatever you want to call it, the right-wing activists who knew there were so many right-wingers in unions in Victoria? But it makes sense. Hitler's Socialist Party, mate, the old unions, the workers' union there. But I just remember I was getting 350,000 views on TikTok. Can't have that. Can't have that. You can only have videos on TikTok that say that Dan Andrews is the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's the best man. Come on, hey?
Or announce that you're a new non-binary, monster lizard.
Mate,
that's basically what
I sometimes sit back and I shouldn't, but I do get a little bit pissed off the fact that you've got people who have still got their accounts, were able to build a brand, right? And to me, it was never about the money. So the Aussie Senators have got a Bandcamp channel. Aussie looks after that. I've never asked for a cent, ever. Even during the peak times when we were getting people just loving that shit. Even when he produced his CDs, no royalties, right? I'm currently doing a Takin-Thepiss shop on Redbubble and Spreadshop, and I've got some designs there. Not just your Dan Andrews is a fucking cunt, but just trying to let people know that there's a lot of culture, history, and tradition in Australia, and there's nothing wrong with celebrating it. Nothing at all, right? So it's not everyone's cup of tea, but if you're looking for something for someone who's got everything, mate, check it out. There's nothing wrong with it. But I go back to, so anyone on the left, they're not grifters, they're serious artists. But anyone in the center on the right, they're grifters.
Yeah.
Grifters, right? And that's not right. So viewers, if you're still with us, because I can't check and I can't see what you're writing, but I will watch this over just so I can cringe how bad I am, right? Please, and Tim hasn't asked me to do this or paid me or anything. I don't do shit for money. Please support. He's got his links everywhere. You're a gold. He's got links everywhere. Support free, independent journalists. We need these voices out there. Do you know why? Because they're part of us. They can cancel whatever they want, right? They cannot kill me. And if they do, well, hopefully the law will take care of that. But you cannot cancel the truth. You cannot change facts, no matter how hard you try. It's just not going to happen. So support this young man here. Look after him. I don't want a cent. All I'm saying is check out our free songs on YouTube. Have a laugh. I know that it got a few people over the line, but I just love doing shit for people and just love it. Greatest country in the world still, mate. Still the greatest country on earth. So I got my little liked videos, got the little the Aussie Senators there. The Senator sings. I've just got some little videos where I've just that's a classic there. Industrial Dan Slaughter right there, where I've got the Pavarotti. Now when Aussie Deplorable sent that through, it's got the mate. If that was anyone on the left, people would have gone, oh, that should be at fucking Hamer Hall or whatever. It's like classic, but you can't do it. There's Anzacs. Ooh, don't want to do that. Stand Up Australia. Oh, Danny didn't know. Geez, you can't have that. Who the fuck do you think you are, mate? Having a crack at our boy Dan. Don't you know he saved us? He saved our life. How many people have you heard say that? I heard it in Moonee Ponds, and I just burst out laughing. I was waiting in line at a newsagent, and I heard the little old lady at the front, oh, Dan Andrew saved us. Saved our life. He saved us, I'm like, what? Dan Andrews saved you? It's taken 2 years of your life. You couldn't go to church. You couldn't go see your own kids. What are you talking about? Saved what? Nah. But the best one in Moonee Ponds, mate, Moonee Ponds. Where's Dame Edna when you need her? Him, whatever.
Tina Arena, also from Moonee Ponds.
Absolutely, right? Even though she didn't live in Moonee Ponds, I'm pretty sure.
She hated Dan, though, because of the lockdowns.
Yeah. So I was standing in line waiting to order a cappuccino, 1 sugar. And the bloke in front of me, and I use that word loosely, soy bun, all the whole works, right? He goes, hello. Can I get I've got to get the wording right. Oh, no, it's gone. I'll come if I can think of it, I'll get back to it. But he's basically ordering a carbon. This is it. Can I have a carbon neutral soy latte? I burst out laughing. The poor young kid behind the machine is looking at him like, there's no solar power here, bro. It's all fucking coal power driven. Can you believe that shit? But this is the kind of stuff that they're doing. And unfortunately, they've done a great job. And that, again, falls on the heads of our Liberal National Party members who have actually had the honour to serve in Parliament. I've not had that honour. And the Australian Electoral Commission actually investigated me at the last federal election. And under the Freedom of Information.
Why did they investigate you?
Well, this is the funny thing, right? I received a letter telling me that all my videos of the past couple of years have got no authorization on them.
Why would they need authorization?
Well, under the law, once you've declared that you're going to be running, you've got to authorize your videos, right? And I'm like, even the ones from 3 years ago, they're like, damn straight. So the whole legal department. So a lovely chap out there, g'day, mate, put in a FOI request. I was like, mate, don't waste your time. Turns out the VEC dobbed me in. VEC. Dan's mates. What the fuck? But it got worse. I needed 1,500 names above the line so I could run. I had about 1,100 and something, and I was pushing it. Was a little bit ill at the time as well, so it wasn't really easy. Remember, we were going through the lockdowns and what have you. When they announced the election federally, we had 4 weeks to get those names written down on paper with signatures and addresses. Now, had I known that, I mean, I should have. I didn't, because I just thought maybe I could just transfer it all over. It turns out, when I spoke to someone at the AEC above the supervisor there, that if I had emailed them several months before, I could have gotten those mailed out to me, those forms. So people on the left had those forms. So they got them all signed up, even during lockdown. And then I had to rush around over 4 weeks trying to backtrack and get people to sign these things. I didn't make it. So I didn't run, but that's one little thing that I probably still would like to do. At 54, I'm thinking I've still got a couple of good years in me, a bit of life experience. I was a network engineer, my last job there with NBN. You can leave all your comments about NBN. I've got no issue with that. I did my best. And
fuzz it up a bit, your video.
Oh, no, that's Dan. Fuck you, Dan. Dan, come on, Dan. He got his CCP mates to go all fuzzy on us. Here we go. No,
yeah, that's fine now.
Good. See, got the magic touch, Midas or whatever they call it. Yeah, that's one thing that civic duty. The McCracken family, locals. You'll hear the train going by right now, right on cue. Got to love Dan's. What is it? The 10:05. Beautiful. The McCracken family, who also formed the Essendon Football Club, the Essendon Rowing Club, the Essendon Cricket Club, also had a horse running in the Flemington Racecourse. Oh my God, is it Melbourne Cup Day? Sorry. But even better than that, he was also the mayor of the city of Essendon. Out of their own coin, they built the train track right up to Moonee Ponds back in the day, precursor to CUB. So they were from Ayr, Scotland. Civic pride. I read some of the old history, local history, when people say, well, why are you so interested about our history? I'm like, mate, if you thought I gave a fuck or was offended because I don't come from here, I was born here. Yeah, absolutely. But if you think that I can't recognize honest, good history, tradition, and culture in my birthplace, then I feel sorry for you, you know? So there is so much good that has been done and can still be done. But we just need the right people in there. I ask any of the viewers out there, who hasn't recycled over the past 20 years with all the different green coloured bins and yellow and red and what have you? How many rate decreases have you had because you have done the right thing by recycling? Yeah, that's what I thought. None. Zero. But you're doing the right thing. But now we've got a new promise. Let's all go fucking solar. We get electric vehicles. Doesn't matter if you can't afford the $100,000 price tag. It will be cheaper for you in the long run. When has the government made electricity, gas, water, rates, anything a little bit easier for you? And when they have, it's only been through your tax dollars that has tried to prop the price down. And we all know what happens then, straight back up again. So when they tell me, you know, oh, you've got to recycle, you go, all right, mate, okay, I have. What do I get out of it? I've done all the right things. China fucking hasn't. India hasn't. When are they going to fucking do the right thing? Look, Gretel Thunder Thighs, whatever her name is, she's not fucking 12 anymore or 16. Go to fucking China and have this conversation. I'll support you. But stop fucking banging on to fucking communists in the West who are on their little fucking smartphones. Oh, shit. Hang on. Hang on. I'm about to die. I've got to plug it into my coal-fired power. You know, China are building how many? And we probably don't even know the right numbers. How many new coal-powered fire stations are they building? And Mr. Environment, Climate Change Elbow, Penny Wong, the whole
Bowen.
kit and caboodle, what did they do? They said, look, Uncle Clive Palmer, your mine, no good. Oh, WA mine, Chinese backed and owned. We've got to get this shit out of the ground quick for climate change. We're only authorizing this one for climate change. So now that Elbow and Wongers, or Penny, whatever the fucking name is, now that they've got their little Golf Whitlam fucking Tristan bullshit, whatever, friendship back with China, it's okay to sell coal to the Communist Party of China.
It's okay when they do it.
It's okay when they do it. The other thing is also, I keep thinking, so Dan Andrews, Belt and Road Initiative, how much money Australian politicians on both sides and Victorian politicians, how much money are they actually borrowed from the Chinese Communist Party? Because we know in America, it's a fucking shitload. It's a lot. So the CCP is not a friend of Tibet, Mongolia, Uyghurs, Australians, Americans, or any other cunt outside of China. Wake up. They are not your friends. They are still an evil empire, just like the Soviet Union was, right? China is the one who is doing this damage. Of course, they've got their mates, George Soros, Bloomberg, Gates, etc., who don't mind making a bit of coin by pushing their way. As long as you eat the bug, we're happy having steak and flying our private jets and doing God knows what with little kids. But as long as you don't do it, and please, if you're watching this and you have got some sort of feelings for children under 18, please seek help. And I mean that. please don't hurt an innocent child. I mean, don't hurt an innocent woman, right? But let's not forget that 3 out of 10 Australian men are victims of domestic violence, not from male partners, female partners. Right? Majority of men in Australia who are homeless, sorry, take that back. Majority of homeless people in Australia are men. Can we do more for women? Fuck yeah. But let's not ignore or pretend that we're doing enough for men. We're not. We're not. That's something that really, really hurts. That we are failing our diggers, return soldiers, that we are failing our good men and women who are on hard times, been kicked out of home. Of course, there's always 2, maybe 3 sides of the story. But where do they go? Where are they going to go? Especially the men. It's heartbreaking, you know, and I don't mind giving foreign aid. I've got no issue with it, you know. But where and what are we doing? Elbow, Alice Springs, bro, you know, and that's top. It's one of the top 10 most violent cities on earth. We're up there with Rio de Janeiro, Chicago. What?
Yeah, this
is our country, mate. What?
It's a national shame.
Stop giving us this. It's, mate, Dan Andrews is a classic. You know, he will tell you something, makes you feel good, you know, whilst doing nothing about the problem or the situation. You know, I hope his kids and his wife and his mum don't have to wait an hour for an ambulance. But the reality is people are dying waiting for ambulances. Don't even get us started on the poor lady who can't get a heart operation because she hasn't had her jabs. She survived COVID. What? She survived. And you're saying she's got to be... Tim, talk to me. Is that not crazy?
Yeah.
Come on. You're immersed in it more than I am. Is that not one of the craziest stories you've ever heard?
It is crazy. Like, I mean...
You see, you're speechless. There's almost no words. There's almost no words to it. We're at that point where you go, I thought we left that behind. You know, we segregated a pub. I spoke to Rachel Dexter from The Age. She did a little article just before the election. And it was mainly because she was trying to paint me as a conspiracy theorist with her little article on the United Australia Party. I should have recorded that conversation, and I'm spewing I didn't, because it was a great little interview in the sense that she heard me. She didn't try and belittle or pretend that it isn't. And when I asked her, so I'm unvaccinated. I grew up here. I can go to High Point Shopping Centre in the food court. I can sit in the food court with a cup of coffee, unvaccinated. But the little cafe next to the food court, I can't sit in there because I'm unvaccinated. I said, now you tell me what the science is. If they could explain it to us, maybe we'd believe them. But you can't tell me that that's not about control.
Most of it was about control. I mean, it's so obvious now that it was obvious at the time that Dan was having the ultimate power trip. It's well after 10 now, so I think we might.
Mate, time's flying. What's going on here?
Yeah,
I hardly got a word in as well.
Yeah, we've had a grouse discussion. Well, you're the guest.
Been
so
lovely.
You're the star attraction. So thank you so much for being on my first WilmsFront for 2023. Thank you to the audience as well for their contributions, and you can check out the Senator's YouTube channel. I'll provide all the links into the show notes. There's also his stores as well, and he also, if you want to hear more of his political beliefs,
the manifesto.
He's got a manifesto as well, so I'll link to that as well. So keep up the grouse work and look
you're a
forward
good man.
to more of your
You're
music.
a top bloke. You're a top bloke.
And-
I do appreciate you having me on. And to all your viewers out there, thank you for putting up with me. And to anyone who follows me, please like, subscribe, follow, comment, do everything because the algorithms love it. They don't, but it's fucking grouse. Thanks again, Tim. You're a champion, mate. Keep up the great work.
And you as well. And to play us out, we'll play your latest hit, Sing If You're Glad to Be Free.
Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up and sing with me. The Victorian police are the best in the world. Don't believe me? Look at their track record. From arresting pregnant mums for no reason, shooting down children on Melbourne streets. Not just tear gas for daring to walk the talk, picking off women with rubber bullets to dance, pushing blokes and throwing them down, kicking them for resisting while they're on the ground. Sing, you're glad to be free. Stand up and sing with me. Sing if you're glad to be free, glad to be free with me. Yes, it happened here. This is Melbourne, not some foreign land. That's what it took to preserve our democracy. The Victorian political machine is the best in the West. Look at our duopoly. Not one elected representative stood up for you. They were worried mainstream media wouldn't re-elect them. How disgusting freedom protesters were. The press and live on the evening news. Being a mom or dad is now horrible and obscene. If you don't fly a rainbow, you'll never be seen. Sing, you're glad to be free. Stand up and sing with me. Sing, you're glad to be free. Glad to be free with me. Sing, if you're glad to be free, stand up and sing with me. Sing with me.
And that's the show for tonight. So thank you so much for joining me on the new WilmsFront night of Sundays. I'll let you know when the next Sunday night WilmsFront is. I'll be back tomorrow night, same time, 8:30 p.m. Melbourne time on the WilmsFront channels with Tim's News Explosion, summarizing all of the news from the past week, including what we now know about the UFOs, the East Palestine catastrophe, and also the rainbow mass psychosis that seems to be happening at the moment with World Pride. So I'll see you then. Make sure you comment and subscribe, not just here on where it's live on YouTube, D Live, and Odyssey. Leave comments below, and also make sure you follow me on Gab, Telegram, Minds. I'm still on Twitter, so follow me there as well. And I'll see you all tomorrow night. Thank you. Thanks everyone for joining me, and I'll see you very shortly.
Thanks for tuning in to WilmsFront. Visit timwilms.com to view the archive of episodes. And keep visiting the Unshackled.net to view all our shows. And to keep up with the latest real news and analysis.